This is Mac OS Ken.
Talkin' Tim teases an announcement, growth for iPhone and wearables, and a couple of repair stories. It's Wednesday, the 13th of January, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Amazon Pharmacy. Your medication made easy. Learn more at amazon.com/macOSKenRX. This show is also sponsored by NordVPN. Online security starts with a click. A VPN gives you a secure encrypted tunnel for your online traffic. Nobody can see your data through it. That's great if you're traveling or if you just want to keep your browsing history to yourself. Personally, I think of VPNs like flashlights or Band-Aids. You may not always need them, you may not always use them, but when you do need or want one, it's good to have one. And NordVPN is a good one to have. They've got over 5,200 super fast servers in 59 countries around the world. I've tried several of those servers out, using some both here in the States and around the world. And they have been fast. But try it for yourself. At an incredibly low price. Right now you can get 68% off NordVPN, only $3.71 a month, plus you get an additional month free at nordvpn.com/macOSKen or use a coupon MacOSKen. NordVPN comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so take advantage of this deal. Get 68% off NordVPN, only $3.71 a month, plus an additional month free at nordvpn.com/macOSKen or use coupon MacOSKen. nordvpn.com/macOSKen or use coupon MacOSKen. By now you've probably heard that Apple CEO Tim Cook is making some kind of announcement today. In fact, depending on when you hear this, he may have already made it. How did it go? Apple Insider says CBS This Morning ran a teaser on Tuesday saying that Apple CEO Tim Cook would be on today announcing something, not something. One of the show's anchors, Gayle King, made it clear that Cook is not announcing a product. Rather, King says this is something bigger and better, and that it's very exciting. While whatever he announces is likely to make news, even the announcement of the announcement made news. That's because CBS played a part of the pre-taped interview wherein King asked Cook about last week's siege at the U.S. Capitol, and Tim Cook answered. Asked about the incident, Apple's CEO said, "I think it's key that people be held accountable for it. This is not something that should skate. This is something that we've got to be very serious about and understand, and then we need to move forward." Apple Insider says King then asked Cook whether President Trump should be held accountable for his part in inciting the riot. Cook's answer was fairly diplomatic. Quoting that, "I think no one is above the law. I mean, that's a great thing about our country, and we're a rule of law country. I think everyone that had a part in it needs to be held accountable." King pressed even further, saying, "We're all told this as a little kid. There are consequences to your actions, but I don't know how we just let this go." "I would agree," responded Cook. "I don't think we should let it go. I think holding people accountable is important." Now on to the announcement. Were there hints as to what Apple CEO will say today? Not really. I mean, we know it's not going to be a thing. iMore pointed readers to a Twitter thread strung by Above Avalon's Neil Seibert. A few points that he pointed out. Gayle King went to an Apple store to conduct her remote interview with Tim Cook. Interesting, no? She could have done the interview from anywhere. Point 2. A morning show interview implies Apple's announcement will come out pretty early in the day, if not later today, which of course was yesterday, which didn't happen. Item 3. A morning show interview also implies Apple thinks its non-product news will have impact and relevancy with the mass market, And number 4, Gayle King is a big hitter for CBS. Doubtful this will be a "we now offer Apple Card monthly installments for Apple Watch bands" type of thing. In another tweet, Seibert went on to say, "An Apple Stores as vaccination sites announcement makes sense to me. 1. King did the interview at an Apple Store. 2. Vaccines are certainly more important than new products. And 3. Apple has been very aggressive in trying to help where it can regarding battling the pandemic." In yet another tweet, Seibert said, "Looking through my mentions, a few people think Tim Cook's announcement will be related to privacy. I suppose that qualifies as being not a product. Another point to consider, it may be easy to miss, but CES is taking place this week." That is worth noting. King said in the promo for the interview that it was set up before last week's attack on the Capitol, so whatever they're announcing won't be a reaction to that. Also worth noting, the level of praise heaped on Cook by the anchors. King called him a good human being, a very strong business leader who deeply cares about this country and deeply cares about what's happening in it and wants to do good. That was followed by one of the dudes at the table. We'll call him Dude. Dude also pointed out the emphasis Apple under Cook has put on user privacy. In short, we have no idea what he's announcing, but he's doing it today. Watch this space. JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee isn't the only one reading regulatory filings from China. I told you yesterday that Chatman had issued a new note on Apple, driven by a report from the Chinese government and some stats from Digitimes. Now, the site The Fly has Wells Fargo analyst Aaron Rakers skipping the Digitimes data, but liking what he's seeing from the Middle Kingdom. According to The Fly, Commander Rakers was turned on by what he read from the China Academy of Information and Communications Technology and the strength it seems to show for iPhone 12. In the note, the piece says the analyst saw continued positive Apple data points, leaving Rakers increasingly comfortable that Apple will post upside to current expectations. He also likes the company's continued strong capital allocation story. Ah yes, that's the story that begins, "Once upon a time, Apple had a ton of money everybody else wanted." Rakers has an overweight rating on Apple's shares. He used Tuesday's note to up his firm's price target on the shares from $140 to $155. Wearables were all the rage in 2020. That seems to be the latest take from Gartner. Apple Insider has the firm tracking growth for more sophisticated devices like wireless earphones and smartwatches, while simpler devices like fitness bands stayed flat. Running through the Gartner data, Apple Insider says for 2020, total worldwide spend on wearable devices was $69 billion, an increase of 49% from sales observed in 2019, a trend that may carry on for a few more years at least. The firm's analysts forecast 2021's wearable device sales will reach $81.5 billion, representing an 18.1% rise from 2020, while 2022 sales could reach $93.9 billion. The firm figures that fitness-focused wearable growth was driven by illness. Gartner Senior Research Director Ranjit Atwal was quoted as saying, "The introduction of health measures to self-track COVID-19 symptoms, along with increasing interest from consumers in their personal health and wellness during global lockdowns, presented a significant opportunity for the wearables market." Hearables, like AirPods, meanwhile, were driven by all the video calling people had to do once they started staying inside. While Gartner only puts out forecasts with numbers through 2022, the firm expects growth for wearables past that. Quoting Atwal again, "The capacity of embedded sensors is often a determining factor in the reliability and usefulness of a wearable product. Given the sensor improvement trend seen over the last several years, sensors built into wearable devices will be increasingly capable of more accurate readings, driving market growth over the next 3 to 5 years. More news in a moment, But first, a word from Amazon Pharmacy. Your medication made easy. You take prescriptions either to maintain your health or to get better. Is there any reason for you to go where people who aren't feeling well go to pick up meds? You can have your medication shipped straight to your door with Amazon Pharmacy. I'd be willing to bet that almost everybody listening to this got something delivered to them by Amazon over the holidays. I know I did. They know how to get stuff to you. And besides, it's not like you're picking out your own medication. Just have your doctor's office send your next prescription straight to Amazon Pharmacy, and your meds turn up at your door. It works with most insurance plans nationwide, but Amazon Prime members paying for a prescription without insurance can save with Amazon Pharmacy. Their pricing is clear and understandable, they're HIPAA compliant, and you can get in touch with a pharmacist 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're still going to the pharmacy to pick up your meds, have them come to you instead. Amazon Prime members can save on prescription medication when not using insurance and get free 2-day delivery. Learn more at amazon.com/macOSKenRx. AMAZON. That's amazon.com/macOSKenRx. amazon.com/macOSKenRx. Time now for more car talk with Beep and Borp. This one from the What Might Have Been file. The Verge says Apple and the electric vehicle startup Canoo held talks in the first half of 2020 that, according to a few nameless so-and-sos, said to know something about something. According to the report, Canoo's scalable electric vehicle platform, or skateboard, is largely what drew Apple's interest, the people said. The platform is different from ones developed by other startups and larger automakers because it integrates more of the car's electronics, allowing for greater flexibility in cabin design. It also features steer-by-wire technology, which also increases design flexibility and is not yet widely adopted in the industry. Don't worry, none of that's going to be on the test. While Canoo was interested in an investment from Apple, Apple was more interested in buying Canoo. Talks fell apart. What might have been? Still sitting with a drawing board of its own, Apple needs people to fill it, and they are currently hiring someone to check their work. iMore says the Cupertino company is looking for a car experience SQA engineer. The product systems quality team at Apple solves hard problems to ensure that our customers have a seamless experience with our products. The help wanted reads, "Quality is a critical aspect of everything we do, and as a car experience SQA engineer, you will be working with a team of quality engineers to develop cutting-edge solutions, collaborate on automation projects, and drive overall test efforts to continue our culture of delivering high-quality products." No, the ad doesn't say Apple Car, but with every other story being about Apple Car, it's about Apple Car, right? According to iMore, the ad goes on to say that Apple is looking for someone with experience of building automation solutions for consumer electronics and/or technologies such as USB, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi. An in-depth knowledge of automotive technology and internal network is a plus, it goes on to mention. But, could be anything. We'll wrap the day with a couple of repair stories. If your 12-inch MacBook or MacBook Pro has an anti-reflective display issue, could be a bit before you get it fixed. Mac Rumors has word of an internal memo wherein Apple recently informed its network of Apple-authorized service providers that mail-in repair is now required for Mac notebooks with anti-reflective coating issues in the U.S. If this story does not ring any bells, that's not surprising. The company kept this issue on the QT. According to Mac Rumors, Apple launched an internal quality program in October of 2015 after some 12-inch MacBook and MacBook Pro users experienced issues with anti-reflective coating wearing off or delaminating on Retina displays. Apple has never publicly announced the repair program on its website, opting instead to handle the matter internally. Whether the change in repair policy has to do with ongoing COVID closures or simply the age of affected machines is unclear. Whatever the case, Apple will still fix the issue, but it's going to take a while. You can find out more and get the ball rolling at getsupport.apple.com. And finally today, a warning to you AirPods Max wearers. If you have to send your cans back to Apple for an exchange, hold on to the ear cushions. Cult of Mac says the replacement pair will not include them. The piece cites a report from 9 to 5 Mac, a reader of which learned the lesson the hard way. The way the cult sees it, this isn't exactly a major shocker, unless the ear cushions themselves are damaged, in which case they would be eligible for replacement under the warranty. You can detach the existing ones and then use them again for the replacement AirPods Max. Since Apple sells replacements for $69, the company doesn't want to give them away for free unnecessarily. Coming up in a few minutes, not sure which of us is Beep and which one is Bort, but Peter Cohen and I are talking Apple Car. The show is called In a Few Minutes. Listen and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken Live goes live again today, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/KenRay. Catch it live or on replay there. You can also grab the audio podcast, macOS Ken Live, wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by NordVPN. Get 68% off NordVPN, only $3.71 a month, plus an additional month free at nordvpn.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Amazon Pharmacy. Your medication made easy. Learn more at amazon.com/macOSKenRx. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.